Oh, brother. Oh, brother is right. Look at that hair, that skin, that mouth. And you too know the value of a good appearance. That a good appearance is a must, not only to your college life now, but to your business and professional lives in the future. Good grooming starts with personal care. This principally means the care of your hands, your hair, your teeth, and your skin.
Looking good is all about self-expression. So, of course, we should take care of ourselves.
My nighttime skincare routine.
My everyday skincare routine.
My personal skincare routine.
My routine is pretty simple.
Toning.
3, 4.
And layering.
Okay, wait, actually, it's an 8-step process.
I always grew up learning. You need to put these on your face to prevent wrinkles, anti-aging, have lighter skin. And it was always creams, always like different moisturizers, sunscreens.
These products worked. It worked for everyone.
But sometimes all these products may do things to us that are not so pretty.
One day, I rashed out all over my chest and my ears would ring, a loud shrieking noise or sounding like I'm underwater.
He had no sperm.
You see her hands, the skin coming off.
I felt pains in my abdomen.
There's been case studies published of boys growing breasts because use of creams or lotions or oil that were applied to their bodies.
One of the biggest cosmetic brands in the world, their ex-formulator had contacted us. He said, quote unquote, the cosmetic industry is destroying women's cells. cells, cells.
These companies are telling you, yeah, it's gentle, it's safe. And then 10 years down the line, oh my God, I'm infertile. Oh my God, I have cancer.
Skincare, hair, feminine care products have been associated with reproductive problems. Ovarian cancer, preterm birth, mercury poisoning, endocrine disruption.
Remove everything, the omentum, the ovaries, the fallopian tubes.
My belly started growing. I went to a hormone specialist and he said, uh-oh. I said, what does that uh-oh mean? He says, are you feeling okay? I said, I feel fine. There's no warning with ovarian cancer.
I don't feel like myself. My periods only last a day now. I have delayed speech, memory loss.
The doctor put in a needle right through the skin under my abdomen. Greenish liquid poured out of me into 6 1-liter bottles.
This is not just a women's problem.
There's a product called Just for Men. It's their product that's used for beards.
Just for Men hair and beard care. Be the better man you are.
By the time I got to bed that night around 10:30, the mild itchiness had progressed to an unbelievable itchiness.
A recent study of 43,000 men found that from 1973 to 2011, average male sperm count had fallen more than 50%. If sperm counts continue to fall at this rate, they'd reach 0 by 2045. Unfortunately, these chemicals don't just affect adults.
Babies are being born pre-polluted with industrial chemicals already in their systems from day one.
If you test the blood and urine of a newborn baby, you will find dozens or even hundreds of industrial chemicals.
These chemicals get into the fetus and can change how that fetus develops.
Almost every chemical you can imagine has been regulated except for the chemicals we use in everyday personal care products.
The way we regulate personal care products in this country hasn't changed since the 1930s.
President Roosevelt has endorsed a bill which should be front-page news to every consumer in America. Its purpose is to protect you as a consumer from the many dangerous and fraudulent foods, drugs, and cosmetics still to be found on the market.
There are over 10,000 industrial chemicals used to formulate personal care products today.
I've seen reports that say anywhere from 200 to 500 chemicals alone in a woman's everyday routine.
A lot of cream like that you're going to put on your skin have paraben.
When it comes to cosmetics, parabens are in pretty much everything.
A study done in 2004 found parabens in breast tumors.
All women who wear any kind of deodorant or moisturizer is going to have parabens in their system for the last 50 years.
you can find over 17,000 different perfumes and fragrances created from more than 4,000 synthetic chemicals, many of them phthalates.
Phthalates are industrial chemicals that are used to hold the scent of fragrance. They're used in all kinds of body care products, shampoos, lotions, makeup, deodorants, and perfumes. But phthalates are not on the labels because companies do not have to tell us what's in the fragrance. That's considered a trade secret.
Many chemicals escape scrutiny. One way is by hiding under the banner of fragrance or parfum.
Fragrance. That one little word can hide hundreds of individual chemicals.
There is a loophole in federal regulation that allows industry to put whatever ingredients they want and label it as fragrance.
You have no way of knowing what's in your product.
The industrial processes that make some of the additives, something as benign as makeup, are the same kinds of processes that are involved in chemical warfare and biological weapons.
This industry, which anytime you walk into a store in this country, is virtually asserting that they can rebuild people with new cells and all kinds of other very bold claims.
New Capture Total Super Potent Serum reactivates all the essential functions of the skin.
Your expert said when a consumer asks, is this product safe? Your expert said, I cannot say.
It's hard to imagine that there are rules that limit what chemicals we can spray on food or on crops, but not the chemicals we spray on ourselves every day.
Personal care and skincare companies make some pretty bold claims. But in reality, if you're using any of the major personal care products, from body washes to lotions to creams, shampoo to conditioner, colognes, and perfumes, you could be ingesting tens, if not hundreds, of toxic chemicals that are destroying your health, wrecking your hormones, and making you depressed, obese, and infertile. Just take a look at some of the ingredients in any of your favorite skincare products. Artificial fragrance, a chemical that's been linked to ovarian failure and sperm damage. Trichlocarbon, another chemical that causes damage to the reproductive system in animals. And sodium lauryl sulfate, which is in pretty much every skin product, can cause severe eye damage and blindness.
In the laboratory, a scientist tests an eyelash beautifier, which only recently came on the market. He finds that this cosmetic contains a coal tar dye. This explains why women who use this stuff are having the outer coatings of their eyeballs burned off and are becoming blind.
And maybe you're thinking, well, it's fine. These toxins are only going on top of my skin. At least I'm not swallowing them, right? You're right. It's actually worse.
Our skin absorbs all the contaminants like chlorine and stuff 6 times faster than if we can drink. This is ordinary Tucson tap water, and it's the same water. And these are pool test drops that you test your backyard swimming pool. Yeah. So if it turns yellow, there's chlorine in there.
Instantly.
Yep. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna swish my fingers around in this one a little bit to simulate taking a bath or a shower. Drop the same number of drops in the same water.
I don't see anything. So you're telling me that in the 2 seconds you had your fingers in that water, where did it go?
Every bit of that chlorine was absorbed through my skin, and now it's going into my bloodstream.
Many of these toxic chemicals, like artificial fragrance, have a small enough molecular structure to where they get absorbed right into your bloodstream. And they build up in your body over time.
An alarming study just published by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration shows that 6 of the commonly used chemical sunscreen ingredients get into your bloodstream and greatly exceed the levels considered safe by the FDA.
That means every time you lather on that Japanese cherry blossom lotion, or that delicious strawberry shower gel, or that satisfying exfoliator, all these lab-made chemicals are all seeping into your body.
I had developed cysts and nodules from over applying way too many products, and I had over exfoliated my skin with chemical exfoliators.
Every day, the average American uses 9 different skincare products, which means they're exposing themselves to 126 different skincare ingredients that haven't even been regulated by the FDA yet. The EU has banned over 1,300 toxins in their skincare products, but in America, we've only banned 8.
If you look at the US versus Canada versus Europe, the US has banned under a dozen chemicals. Canada has restricted over 500, and Europe at least at 1,300 now.
Welcome to Evil Food Supply. And this is the disgusting world of skincare products. And we'll also go over what to use instead at the end, because there are many great alternatives.
I'm very concerned about the ingredients in my makeup because more than half of them I can't pronounce, and that really scares me. I don't know what they are.
Well, that's the gang. Chances are you bought them already.
Looking from left to right, Harriet and Gwendolyn. Don't you think Harriet has an outstanding complexion? Well, Ivory is her beauty soap.
Before the Industrial Revolution, people didn't have fancy face creams or shave gel in a can. And yet, they still had to take care of their skin. So what did they do? They turned to natural ingredients that have been used for skincare for millennia. Things like honey, oatmeal, egg yolks, olive oil, and beef tallow. Back then, people only really used skincare products when they had a rash or some sort of skin issue they needed to heal. And since everyone was eating all natural foods, most of the time, their skin was perfectly fine as it was. And this traditional way of caring for the skin went on for decades, until the industrial age swept across the nation.
New golden bar, new golden wrapper. It's new golden dial with new protection for you. New mildness, too. For new Golden Dial contains Super AT7, a combination of two remarkable ingredients. Together, they're twice as effective as any protective ingredient in any other soap.
Now there were all these petrochemicals derived from big oil, all these new lab-made chemicals, all these new seed oils that were being produced. They were all just waiting to be repackaged into new products. It was the golden age of chemistry, where all of a sudden, all these new sorts of products, especially skincare products, were now possible. But the only problem was, the public didn't want them. See, before the Industrial Revolution, people only bought things as they needed them. They'd buy one wooden spoon, one cast iron cookware, and they would keep it for life, because that was all they needed. But now, with all of this new industrial capacity to mass produce all the products we could have ever dreamed of, the industrial giants needed to somehow transition society from a needs-based culture to a desires-based culture. As one Lehman Brothers banker put it,
"We must shift America from a needs to a desires culture. People must be trained to desire, to want new things, even before the old have been entirely consumed. We must shape a new mentality in America. Man's desires must overshadow his needs."
So that's exactly what the industrial giants of the time got hard to work doing. And one such industrial giant was Procter & Gamble. And they set their sights on promoting their shiny new product, Ivory Soap. And Ivory Soap would be the first domino in our modern world's obsession with skincare products. The only problem was, kids back then hated being scrubbed by soap, almost as much as they hated broccoli. Something needed to be done. But as P&G, you had the perfect man for the job, a Mr. Edward Bernays. You may remember Edward Bernays from our video on breakfast. Mr. Bernays is known as the father of propaganda, and he was the one that was hired by a food company to trick America into believing that breakfast is the most important meal of the day, all in an effort to boost bacon sales. And around the same time, P&G approached Bernays with a similar task.
One day, the president of the company said, "We have bad news. Children hate soap because the mothers wash their faces with soap. The soap gets into their eyes and they detest it. And obviously, if they detest it as children, they'll detest soap when they grow up."
If Bernays could do that, P&G would have a whole new generation of customers unlocked to them. The stakes were high, but Bernays came up with a genius plan. He launched a nationwide soap carving competition sponsored by Ivory Soap. These soap carving competitions were fun, exciting, and exactly the kind of thing that would draw kids to the Ivory Soap brand. And it worked. Kids started to associate fun and creativity with a boring, toxin-filled bar of soap. They wouldn't fight their parents on washing with soap anymore. They were pretty much begging for it. For 25 years, the National Soap Sculpture Competition inspired millions of school children to find creative and artistic expression. Children, the enemies of soap, would be conditioned to enjoy using ivory. Sculptures were displayed in many places, giving P&G and Ivory Soap even more easy media coverage, therefore. P&G made this an annual event. Bernays' innovative work with Ivory Soap created a product base which lasted and, to this day, is still a leading soap. In fact, take a listen to what Bernays had to say about the campaign himself.
Within a year's time, 23 million children in the public schools were sculpting in Ivory Soap and loving it as not only a creative medium, but also as a medium for cleanliness, which Ivory Soap said is next to godliness.
Ivory Soap was in, and so was this transition from a needs-based society to a desires-based society. In other words, the age of consumerism was in. The next thing to explode were high-end face creams in the 1920s. Then, getting a light summer tan became fashionable, so tanning lotions that gave your skin that natural sun-kissed glow became a thing. Then, those expensive 3-step skincare systems that promised to make your skin look healthy, youthful, and radiant started being sold in the fancy department stores. Somewhere along the lines, people started getting hooked on shower gels that were made from synthetic detergents derived from petroleum. A myriad of hair care products that gave your hair a natural, tousled look, ironically made with brand new, unnatural ingredients. Tens, then hundreds of brand new chemicals started making their way onto people's skin. But since this was all new back then, no one even thought about whether or not these chemicals were safe.
If you're a soap and water girl, remember soap removes natural oils, can leave skin tight, flaky, and soap doesn't reach deep-set dirt. So, once a day, really cleanse with Pond's Cold Cream.
America was now hooked on personal care products, and as the decades went on, the craze only got worse, and the ingredients only got worse. Fast forward to the late 2010s. America had gone crazy for skincare products. It's not enough to have just one face cream or one kind of soap. No. You need a soap, an exfoliator, a toner, a moisturizer, a serum. Go into any woman's bathroom and you'll see a whole arsenal of chemical-laden skincare products. For women, the message from Big Skincare is clear. If you love yourself, if you want to look beautiful, you'll take care of your skin.
I love skincare. Skincare is all about self-love, so why not love yourself?
It's not consumerism, no. Rubbing plastic chemicals on your face is the same as getting a massage or exercising. It's self-care. But men are far from immune. For men, the message is also clear. If you want to be manly and smell manly, if you want to attract women, you have to ironically lather yourself with chemical cocktails that are destroying your testosterone and increasing your estrogen. And the dirty secret about all these skincare routines for men and women is that they're not even backed by science in the first place.
There's really not that much skincare that is evidence-based. Trust me, I have studied the skin at a cellular level.
Skincare companies love to show us these close-ups of chemicals transforming the skin at a cellular level, when the reality is much less attractive. Hyaluronic acid, which is a popular ingredient in skincare, literally just sits on top of the skin, making it look hydrated. It's not actually transforming the health of your skin. And ingredients like glycolic acid sound scientific, but over time, it can actually cause micro cracks in your skin. One woman said that after she used glycolic acid on her face, her esthetician told her that her face was essentially one big open wound. But wait, what if the skincare is dermatologist approved? Yeah, that doesn't really mean anything. Big skincare companies send samples to dermatologists even before they've graduated, all in hopes they'll promote their product, and many times, they do.
These skincare companies, CeraVe, Cetaphil, Aveeno, Neutrogena, they know that I'm a dermatologist and that I was a dermatology resident a few years ago, and so they've been sending me free skincare samples for years. And even if they don't send me skincare samples directly, they have made sure that all of the clinics in which I train have a bunch of free patient samples to hand out to them. Now naturally, when I have a whole wall of those samples, I'm going to take some of those and try them myself at home. Once I've personally used one of those products, it is just human nature that I'm much more likely to recommend them as compared to another product when a patient asks me. So yes, that is why I am so likely to recommend CeraVe Moisturizing Lotion, because I use it myself. That doesn't actually mean that CeraVe Moisturizing Lotion has some incredible evidence showing it is the best moisturizer out there on the market. What it does mean is that that company's marketing department is really smart, and it's made sure that its products are in the hands of dermatology residents and dermatologists. Once these products become the favorites of dermatologists, the rest of the population follows suit because they assume we have some extra special information showing that they're the best.
But why? Why do these corporations need to put all these terrible ingredients in there in the first place?
Women are forever in motion. So Carrie's put its new lotion in motion. Introducing new Carrie Fast Absorbing. This brand new Carrie penetrates fast, absorbs fast, to moisturize without a greasy afterfeel.
In order to make the perfect addictive skincare products, you're gonna need a few elements. You're gonna need to have that silky smooth texture while not feeling oily. If it's a scrub or a cleanser, you're gonna need it to foam up just right while having some fruity smelling bubbles. You're also gonna need them to last as long as possible on the shelf. And one thing is for sure, you're not gonna get any of these characteristics using the traditional skincare ingredients like olive oil and egg yolks.
No. That's not gonna work.
No, you are gonna need a whole cocktail of chemicals. From preservatives to emulsifiers to seed oils to thickeners, all of these things make sure your product gives the customer that luxurious self-care experience that lasts on their shelf forever. Like phthalates. Phthalates are chemicals that make plastic more durable. But you know, that's what we should be rubbing on our skin. Phthalates are incredibly terrible for you. They are what's responsible for a shocking drop in global sperm count.
Just mathematically, if you extended the line, it does hit 0 in 2045. So that's the median sperm count. That means half of men would have no sperm.
This is because phthalates are what's known as endocrine disruptors, meaning they can absorb through the skin and disrupt your hormones. But they sure are the perfect ingredient to help your lotion and creams really stick to the skin.
Now, the function of phthalates is to make your skincare more pliable, more easier to apply on your skin, and at the same time allows the fragrance to actually stick to your skincare.
Your lotion and creams just wouldn't be quite the same without it.
That's why some of those personal care products are kind of scary. Personal care, but that like parabens and phthalates and estrogen, phytoestrogens and endocrine disruptors and stuff like that. They've done studies where like guys will like take a shower with the average shampoo that's got like parabens and phthalates and these things that can be endocrine disruptors or phytoestrogens, mimic estrogen in a man's body, and they actually within a short period of time after taking the shower and using these care products, you can actually detect this stuff in their urine. Like your body's actually soaking this up and absorbing it.
One of the most common phthalates in skincare is diethyl phthalate, which can be found in products like Burt's Bees glowing body oil. Unlike other ingredients, phthalates can be very difficult to spot. In one study, researchers found 72 products that contain phthalates, but don't actually include it in the ingredients list. That's because the phthalates are usually found in the fragrance or perfume listed on the back of the skincare products. Since fragrances are seen as trade secrets in the beauty world, the FDA doesn't require companies to list the ingredients in them. And so phthalates can make their way into your skincare routine completely undetected. But aside from phthalates, you're also going to want to mix in some parabens. Parabens are chemicals that will extend the shelf life of your product. If you want to make your product last longer and be cheaper, then you're going to need parabens. Parabens are also pretty terrible for you. Parabens act like the hormone estrogen in your body. They disrupt your hormones, which means for men, using paraben products can lower your testosterone and make you fatter, weaker, and in women, it can also make you fatter and infertile. Parabens were also shown to cause breast cancer in animal studies, but hey, a little bit can't hurt. Parabens go by many names, like propylparaben, which is found on this popular Japanese blossom lotion from Bath & Body Works. This Gold Bond one, this Dove one, this Lubriderm one, these Vaseline ones, and this other Gold Bond one that has an ingredient that may speed up the development of skin tumors and lesions. Other offenders include pretty much every other major brands. Victoria's Secret, Old Spice, Jergens, even this small brand that looks all independent and family-owned. Or maybe you'll add in preservatives like diazolindinylurea. These preservatives are known as a formaldehyde releaser, meaning that they prevent microbial growth by releasing the highly toxic gas formaldehyde. And 20% of personal care products in the US contains one of these chemicals, like all these ones. But now that your product sticks to skin well and has a long shelf life, you're also going to need to add an emulsifier called disodium EDTA, a toxic chemical that has been linked to brain damage. Emulsifiers are what allow the water and oils in your skincare products to mix and have that luscious, creamy consistency. And disodium EDTA is your ace in the hole. It's found in hundreds of skincare products like the popular Gillette Sensitive Skin Aftershave Gel, Cespring's So Rich Moisturizing Cream, and the popular Banana Boat Ultra Sport Sunscreen Lotion. If you want your product to have a smooth, sleek finish, then you're going to want to add in some Teflon. No, seriously, there are a ton of foundations, makeup powders, eyeshadows, lip balms, and most ironically, anti-aging lotions that contain the same forever chemical used in toxic non-stick pans, PTFE, otherwise known as Teflon. There are a ton of lawsuits right now against 3M, DuPont, and others for the devastating effects forever chemicals have had on newborn babies. And yet, many women are rubbing this stuff on their face as we speak. And to cover up the smell of all these chemicals, you'll add in a generous dash of artificial fragrance. The sweet smell of death. The thing about artificial fragrance is that it's oil-based and made of extremely tiny molecules. And when applied to the skin, these tiny oil-based molecules go directly into the bloodstream. And this is the same with any oil-based chemical. But that's not where the evil ends. Like we mentioned earlier, fragrance or perfume is just a catch-all word used in ingredients lists for whatever chemicals companies threw together to make something smell good. They don't have to list anything they include as fragrance, which means phthalates and a long list of carcinogens can go into these products without any sort of warning. So if your skincare products list fragrance, perfume, or parfum, stay away. That includes products like Cetaphil Daily Facial Cleanser, this makeup remover, and micellar water from Bioderm, and this beard oil from Old Spice. And then there's lip balms. One of the most common ingredients in lip balm are seed oils. Yes, if you use conventional lip balms, you could be slowly sipping on seed oils throughout the day. Like Burt's Bees, which sounds like an all-natural family-owned business, but it's actually a multinational corporation that is a subsidiary of Clorox. And one seed oil they like to use is sunflower oil, like in this Burt's Bees lip balm, or in this one from Chapstick. And here's the thing about all of this, is that we've barely scratched the surface. There are so many more toxic chemicals in your products right now that it would take up another hour for us to go over. And we know what some of you may be thinking. But Evil Food Supply, sure these ingredients are bad for you, but I only use a little. But is it a little? Again, the average American uses 9 different skincare products, which means they're exposing themselves to 126 different skincare ingredients on a daily basis. Even if it's still a tiny amount of poison, a little bit of poison over a long period of time is still a lot of poison. And with all the depression, obesity, and so on that we just accept as normal in today's society, it's time we start looking at not only our food supply, but our personal care supply as well. That's why cutting out all these mainstream personal care products is just as important as cutting out processed foods from your diet. But how? Now, we're not going to say just don't use any personal care products whatsoever, but you do want to cut back on how many personal care products you use. Unless you make a living as a model, we believe that poisoning yourself with a cake face full of toxic makeup is not cool or attractive. Natural beauty from eating better, exercise, and less toxins is where it's at. Not only will you save money and improve your health, but many of these products are completely unnecessary to begin with. For example, we here at Evil Food Supply don't use shampoo or conditioner anymore, and we haven't for at least a year, and we'll never go back. When you first get off the stuff, your hair will feel oily at first, but after a while, your hair just feels normal and not gross or smelly. Think about it. We've somehow survived hundreds of thousands of years without modern shampoos and conditioners. And now all of a sudden, balding seems so much more commonplace. Once you reduce the amount of products you actually use, the next step is to replace the products you do need to use with less toxic alternatives. And the best alternatives are simply the ones that humans have been using throughout the millennia. Things like grass-fed, grass-finished beef tallow. Beef tallow mimics the natural oils found in our skin, which is why it's so great for moisturizing. It's naturally rich in skin-loving ingredients like vitamins A in its natural form, D, E, choline, and fatty acids, without any of the nonsense. Or things like organic olive oil, which the ancient Greeks, Phoenicians, Egyptians, and Romans used on their skin and in their hair for thousands of years. Modern findings back this up. Olive oil contains vitamins A, D, K, and E. It's got antioxidant properties, and it moisturizes and fights bacteria, which is great for fighting acne. Or take something as simple as honey. Honey has been recognized throughout human history for its healing properties, dating back to the ancient Egyptians and the Greeks at least. And once again, modern findings back it up. Honey has been found to have antibacterial, antifungal, and antiviral effects, making it great for wounds, cuts, scrapes, and overall healing of the skin. One of the most studied and most effective uses of honey is found in healing of wounds. The Russians used honey in World War I to prevent wound infection and to accelerate wound healing. The Germans combined cod liver oil and honey to treat ulcers, burns, fistulas, and boils. Nearly all types of wounds are found to be responsive to honey therapy. Honey has cleansing action on wounds, stimulates tissue regeneration, and reduces inflammation. Isn't it interesting that all these humble ingredients do all the things that modern artificial products claim to do without any of the side effects? And yet using them is considered weird, while using the disgusting artificial stuff that has been around for maybe 100 years is completely normal. The obvious roadblock is that rubbing things like beef tallow or honey on your face is not the most pleasant experience, since we've been spoiled with these toxic but satisfying modern products. Which is why we here at Evil Food Supply are incredibly proud to announce our first product, Evil Goods Whipped Tallow Honey Balm. When we first learned about how terrible personal care products are, we set out to find the best alternatives on the market. And we wanted to start by replacing the moisturizers, lotions, and lip balms we were so used to using. But the problem was, every product out there on the market were either too thick to where our pores felt clogged up using it, they were too small and expensive, or they had hidden ingredients in it that weren't listed on the label. We actually discovered this by running a lab test on one of the popular brands. So that's why we dedicated the last 6+ months crafting the perfect, all-natural moisturizing alternative. We had to go through multiple manufacturers. We went through so many iterations. But now, we finally have a product that we love using every day ourselves. And you can pick up one for yourself with the link below. We love using the Evil Goods Whipped Tallow Honey Balm as an all-in-one replacement for our face creams, moisturizers, lotions, and lip balms. And the best part is that it's made with just 4 humble ingredients: grass-fed and grass-finished beef tallow from cows raised in the United States, organic cold-pressed olive oil, Manuka honey, which is one of the most premium honeys on the market straight from Australia and New Zealand, and extract from the pot marigold flower. That's it. Pot marigold flower extract is known for promoting skin health, wound healing, and it scores the best possible score on EWG's Skin Deep Hazard Score. Put together with our powerful ingredients, and what you have is the best all-natural moisturizer on the planet. And all these natural ingredients are whipped together into a light, airy texture that is oh so satisfying to spread on your skin and doesn't clog your pores. It really does feel like any of the modern creams you're used to without all the bad stuff. And we put our money where our skin is. This is the only cream we use on our skin every day, and we know you are gonna love it. And you can buy it right now by scrolling down and clicking on the link below. And here's the thing, this is only the beginning. Our goal is to give a giant middle finger to all the multinational conglomerates that are poisoning us by replacing all the personal care products we're using with non-toxic alternatives that are even better than theirs. And if that's a mission you can get behind, then click on the card on the screen or scroll down and click the link below and pick up a glass jar of our luscious whipped tallow honey balm now. Your skin and your health will thank you. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.